And this one's got a bee actively pollinating it right now. Look at that beauty. Oh, and there's another one right there. Ooh, girl. Got a bit of pollen on it, it looks like. And we are going to mate the two. 1 or 2 weeks ago, I noticed that this really dark green, lush vine was just, here. Oh, wow. I came over here to take a look at this fruit over here, this female flower. Hasn't been pollinated yet. The flower's open. Let's see if we can get a good view of it. On my morning walkthrough, and I saw this female flower over here. And then as I'm walking over, I see another female. Oh, look at that. Another female flower here. I don't know if you can see this one. There's another one over here. This one may have been pollinated yesterday. And this one's got a bee actively pollinating it right now. Look at that beauty. Oh, and there's another one right there. Ooh, girl. Yes. I am so pleased because this is the same plant and there's another baby one here. I'm gonna have to fertilize this plant to make sure that it gives me some fruit. So this is the same Golden Hubbard squash plant that had a thriving squash on it. It looked like it was fertilized well. It looked really good. And then it just started rotting. So yeah, it's completely rotted now. Took it off. So hopefully we can find a male flower. There was a bee in there, and I want to make sure it gets pollinated. I think Hubbards in general, I can't rely on my memory. I'm gonna look it up, but what I'm thinking is Hubbard does not cross-pollinate easily with other squash. It's either that or the opposite, but that's what I'm remembering. It's the opposite. So let's go find another flower. I'm gonna have to go all the way to the other side of the garden because this plant extends in 2 directions. And I don't see any other flowers around here. There are 2 flowers over here. There's a Tramontino flower. Here is a Golden Hubbard. The bees are coming after me. I don't want to take any chances that the bees can't connect to female flower. Rather not, I probably shouldn't save any seeds, but I'm going to take a look at the books and see what Hubbard squash crosses with, if it crosses at all. Okay, here we are with this female Golden Hubbard. As you can see, the female plant is there. The female squash is right there. This is what it looks like inside. I'm going to peel the flower back to expose this male part, the stamen. There's quite a bit of pollen on it, it looks like. And we are going to mate the two. This is the only flower I found, so let's hope this works. The one back here is closed already, so so I'm going to assume that one is pollinated. Hopefully we're right. Oh. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That'll be the next updates for the rest of the week to see how we did. I think within a few days we'll know for sure whether it was enough pollen on that flower, on that stamen, to pollinate that female flower. Because after a few days, maybe 1 to 2 to 3 days, well, after a few days, maybe after day 2, we'll have an idea. But sometimes it takes a little longer. Like they'll grow a little bit, and then you'll think they're doing great, and then all of a sudden, I don't think that's the case with the one that was over there. That was definitely pollinated because it was growing for a long time. But I did notice that it stayed the one size after a while, but actually they don't get that big. So I do think it was pollinated because it was there for weeks before it started to die. So I think something may have bitten it, chewed on it, or maybe the squash vine borer got in there, because this plant does have squash vine borer, or it has the appearance that it's been affected by the squash vine borer. I did not find the squash vine borer, but it certainly does look like the base of the stem, the base of the vine. You see the frass from the squash vine borer. You see the holes in the linear cuts in the stem that I did not make. So I'm pretty sure it has been affected by the squash vine borer. But the plant will root along the vine and on any area that's touching the soil. So it acts as a supplementary or secondary root system, and they can get extensive just like the initial, the main root system. So that seems to be what's sustaining this vine. It stopped growing after that fruit came up on it. It stopped growing for a while. The tip, I think, was damaged or maybe eaten up by the groundhog. But now it's pushing off secondary shoots at the tip. So that's why we're having flowers and new clusters of flowers forming right here. And there's a second one. As you can see, there are 2 here. 1, 2. So we are going to have some Golden Hubbard squash, hopefully besides the one that looks to be fully mature. We'll see. We shall see. We'll keep following this. Okay, so fun fact, I stand corrected. Hubbard squash are Cucurbita maxima and can cross-pollinate with other species in other plants in the same species, Cucurbita maxima. So buttercup squash and other winter squash like that. So now I do have butternut squash, but that is in a different class or different species. Cucurbita, I'll put it on the screen because I don't remember. I think it started with a P. And so it can cross-pollinate with the butternut. And that, it's going to be interesting because the butternut that I have growing is actually from hybrid seed. So the genes of butternut and buttercup are in the flowers of some of the other varieties that I'm growing around. I'm not a horticulturalist. I'm just a gardener. But I think I'm a pretty good gardener, notwithstanding the current circumstances in my garden. But I've been gardening for some years. I know a little bit about some things. And, the internet is a vast array of information if you know what to look for and if you know how to isolate good information and trusted information from unreliable information. So because that flower had a bee in it already this morning. Because it had a bee in it, it was likely pollinated by some other flower, but I cannot know what flower that bee came from. So I did pollinate it with a flower from the same plant. A plant that I know for sure is a Golden Hubbard plant because I follow the vine, and it is definitely a Golden Hubbard. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to close that flower so nothing else can go in. So, I mean, we already know that it's been open all morning and bees have been in there. I saw a bee in there, so definitely has gotten in, has seen other pollen, possibly from other plants. I do have a couple of flowers open from other plants. One looks to be a squash. I found another plant that when I paid more attention and followed the vine, I found another plant that I don't really remember planting. It is either a miniature pumpkin or another acorn type of squash. I am not sure. The shape of the baby squash looks like an acorn squash. I did plant seed for another variety, pippin, I believe it's called. But I didn't recall having planted it out. But it's there, so we will see, and I'll show it to you in a minute. But I'm going to close this flower so that we have better chances of it not getting further pollinated by any other bees with any other flowers. I really cannot plan on saving seed from these things this year because they're planted quite close together and they can cross-pollinate, and then I won't have true seed. Problem with it, but you have to know that is the potential issue with it. So let's close this off. Okay, I hope it did good by you. I really hope it did good by you. I'm using the stem of a weed to just tie it closed. There we go. I think that's gonna work to keep the flower closed. Let's hope that that stamen had enough pollen on it. I mean, it was a new flower, but I did my best to rub it all around and been there. So hopefully we did good. Okay, so now I've moved over to some mosquitoes are out today. It rained last night and they love that rain. So they're out here right now. So last thing I want to show you is this new plant that I realized is here. Now, some weeks ago, like 1 or 2 weeks ago, I noticed that this really dark green lush vine was just, I traced it back and it was connected to the same hybrid seed buttercup squash. I need to get a name for it because this is kind of silly now. I've been talking about it and I'm calling it the hybrid. Well, let's just call it the experiment plant. So it's the second year growth of a hybrid seed, honey nut squash seed. The parent fruit was closer in description to a butternut. So that dark green vine, and actually the fruit of it is that one right there. So that dark green vine is connecting there. I traced it back the first time. But today I noticed this little guy right here. So cute. Look at that. And it has the shape of what looks to be an acorn squash. So let me turn it to its side a little bit so you can see. You see that shape? So it's looking like an acorn squash. And I trace the vine back. Let me point you in that direction so you can see as I trace it back. This is the vine with the fruit. It's easier to see. Hopefully I don't get in the way. But this is the Charente melon. And then it looks like, and then this is coming straight out of the ground. This coming straight out of the ground right here is the same vine that I just noticed this fruit on. So vaguely remember planting some seeds directly, but those would be the mini pumpkin seeds. So that could be a mini pumpkin, but I'm not quite sure. Now the vine does extend, the main vine does extend over this way, and I've already traced it. You're gonna have to take my word for it, because this is not easy. Tracing it is not so easy. But okay, it crosses here. This is the Buttercup experiment vine, and this is a new one that I just found. Let me double check. Yep, it's pulling over there. And this one, I'm gonna lift it up and keep holding it here so you can see. I hope you're in focus. Let's see. Let me try to check. But this is what I'm holding. This lighter leaf right here next to this one. Okay, so I'm gonna go pick it back up. This one right here. Let's see. Just want to make sure that you can see what I'm trying to show you. Yeah, okay, and I'm going to turn a little bit. But that is the leaf that I was just holding. And I'm going to angle you up just enough so you can still see me grab that same leaf and then move forward. And maybe I'll zoom out a little bit. Why not? Yeah, that makes sense. So that's the leaf there. Okay, but then you can see, as I grab this leaf again, so you can see the vine. This is the vine. This is the vine. This is the same vine. And here we are, the tip of the vine. It's got 2 more flowers, and I see 2 more flowers on it. I'm going to give it a new space along the soil so that it can put down roots in the soil. Give it a little more strength and some secondary roots. It should be good. I thought that this flower was also part of that plant, but it's not. Oops, I just ripped up the plant. The leaves look the same. This one seems to be coming off of the same plant again. The one that has this fruit. The experimental plant. Okay, well, my morning walk is very interesting this morning. Now this is why it's a good idea. I know I look a mess. So I don't, you've probably seen my hair already. And we try to keep it real around here. But I'm gonna touch my hair up just a tiny bit so that I don't look completely crazy. Because I took my scarf off. I had a scarf over my hair. Okay, so this is why I like to do morning walks every morning. I do a little walkthrough. That's particularly when I come home from work. I do a walkthrough around the garden, and I take a look at everything, see how things are faring, see how things are growing, and then sometimes I find these little surprises, and it's a treat. It's a treat to see how things are growing and to see new things in the flowers as they open, the fruits as they develop. This is what people refer to as fun. When you're gardening, it requires a lot of patience, a whole heck of a lot of patience. But it's fun in that you get to see things as they develop, as they grow, and it's a reward in the end when you get to harvest and eat that fruit. You know, that is also a reminder to me to really make sure that I take my harvests and make full use of them, whether it's preserving them, cooking them, and eating them fresh, or just sharing them with others if it's too much for me. So that's a reminder to myself, because I'm hearing things, girl, I'm hearing things. But I don't think anything's going to come out here while I'm out here. But that is a reminder to me to make sure that I go in this house right now and deal with all the harvest that I picked at the community space the other day. I've got 3 baskets of goodies. I have potatoes, I have tomatoes, upon tomatoes, mostly cherries. What else? Some greens and green beans. Not greens, green beans. I ate the greens last night. I had sweet potato leaves and purslane. I put them together with some green beans. Oh, wait a minute. No, I ate my snake beans. The long noodle beans. Or asparagus bean or snake bean. The red one, or purplish burgundy-ish one, and the green one. And I mixed it with the sweet potato rinds and the purslane. And I had some eggplant that was starting to shrivel up, so I cut that up and put that in there as well. I had a couple of okra. I put that in there as well. Didn't even taste the okra. That's the only way I can eat okra, because I don't like the mucilage. And the purslane has some of that as well. But when you cook it, I didn't notice it. I've never cooked purslane. I don't eat purslane often, but I know that it can be eaten. I have eaten it before, fresh. But I ate some last night. It was good. It was good. It doesn't even take a whole lot of seasoning. Just a little butter in the pan. Wash and cut everything up. I don't cut the leaves. I just, I cook them whole. The sweet potato leaves. Oh, I love sweet potato leaves. But honestly, I love them best by themselves. But anyway, that food was good. So I'm going to get in this house, and I'm going to try to take care of this produce that I picked. The potatoes need to cure. I need to put them in a space where they can do that properly. And then I am going to wash and probably cut the tomatoes and put them in a freezer bag, because I can't handle them right now. But if I do that, I can handle them when I have time. That's it. Alright guys, that was just a quick impromptu walkthrough. I found something interesting, so I thought I'd share it. Oh, I found something nice and exciting, and then I found something interesting. So that's it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed, maybe learned a little bit of something, and maybe hopefully I encourage you to deal with your harvest. Hopefully I encourage you to deal with your harvest sooner than later. It can be challenging at times. I'm gonna let you go on that sunflower with a view of the sunflower. It's so pretty.